I informed my folks to say that we'll build a steel barrier. Steel. It'll be made out of steel.
Why do you think the Democrats would agree to a steel border?
They don't like concrete, so we'll give them steel. Steel is fine. Steel is actually more expensive than concrete, but it'll look beautiful and it's very strong.
Not sure the Democrats' quibble is with the building material. That was President Trump over the weekend on his proposed border wall. However, NBC News has exclusive new reporting out just this morning that President Trump's proposed steel slat border wall could be vulnerable. Joining us now from McAllen, Texas, where the president will be today, MSNBC correspondent Jacob Soboroff, and here on set in New York, NBC News Pentagon correspondent Hans Nichols. Hans, good to see you. Jacob, I'll start with you. What are you learning about this potential, the idea of a steel slat border wall?
Well, as you pointed out, Willie, the president now is very clear that he wants steel as the material to go across the country as his border wall, steel slat, steel barrier, whatever you want to call it. We've known for quite some time that when the Department of Homeland Security tested those 8 prototype models down near San Diego, all of them were vulnerable to be breached in some way. But for the first time, we're now seeing what that looks like. And NBC News has exclusively obtained images of that breached steel slat barrier from down at the prototypes near San Diego, in between San Diego and Tijuana. And of course, this calls into question the president's long-standing insistence that a border wall barrier be impenetrable. The realities along the border are far different from that. And that steel slat barrier is exactly what you see behind me right here in South Texas today. The president may very well come face to face with this steel slat barrier when he is down here, and may very well learn from the Border Patrol that these things can be sliced through with a saw, like was done down there in San Diego. So again, just like when the president talks about what life is like along the border, and oftentimes it is not based in the realities along the border, yet another reality check for the president about this steel slat barrier that he now wants to go along the southern border in this country.
Jacob, beyond the theater that we know we will see from the president down in McAllen later today, what do you expect it to be like down there, and how will he be received by the people there?
Well, there'll certainly be a lot of pushback from the president and the Department of Homeland Security on the line from both the Democrats and other folks who are opposed to his border wall. And I do want to just say that the Department of Homeland Security has reached out to us about our report and about this photo in particular, Willie, and has said that the border wall and border barrier has never meant to stop people entirely from coming into the United States. It's only one element of a larger strategy. But that's not what the president oftentimes says. Sometimes when he's on script, he'll say it's just one part of a multi-pronged strategy, what the Border Patrol often refers to as technology, infrastructure, the wall, and manpower. But the president has long made this all about his wall. When he is down here, I think he will learn, if he meets with real people on the ground, that these border communities are some of the safest cities in the nation, that drugs don't flow through areas that are unwalled, particularly hard narcotics. They come through legal ports of entry, and that MS-13, for instance, is a small portion of people that come into this country, and the Border Patrol chief in this sector told me that directly. So, you know, I'd be curious to know what that Border Patrol chief, Manuel Padilla, tells President Trump when he is down here today. But lots of the things that we hear from the president quite often about the border wall and the life along the border are frankly just not true, not factually accurate. And we'll see if that changes today with the visit to this sector, which, by the way, is where more children were separated from their parents than anywhere else along the entire southern border. A direct, systematic policy by President Donald Trump and his administration.
All right, Jacob Soboroff, will be seeing a lot more of you throughout the course of the day. Thanks so much this morning.